10:34. My guests are seated. To my immediate left is Dr. Eric Oduro Osae. He's the Director General of the Internal Audit Agency. And seated next to him is Yaw Anokye Frimpong, who's a lawyer and a historian. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All good?
All good.
All right. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Osae. What's on your mind this morning?
Thank you, Kaf, and good morning to our viewers. What's on our mind this morning? Let us pray for the Black Stars.
Okay, let us pray.
Let us pray for the Black Stars.
Okay.
And let's root for a better performance of our Black Stars. The second thing on my mind is that I'm calling on the MP for the Anyako area. I don't know who that MP is. Should take steps to resolve the issues in that particular area.
You were in Anyako for the funeral of Ambassador
Anaglache this weekend.
Former DG
of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation and former ambassador to
Togo,
the Republic of Togo.
Yes.
And I was sad. I was sad, Kaf, because the town has virtually been taken over by the river, and it is not the best. You virtually see electric poles in the river. And I ask myself, is this part of Ghana? So the MP for the Anyako areas, please do something about it. Liaise with the appropriate authorities. I call on the assembly to also do something about it. It has even entered into cemeteries and virtually taking over cemeteries. So it means those of us alive, our life is in danger. Those who are dead are also in trouble. Why should that be the case? So I think something must be done about it. Thank you very much.
For the living and for the dead.
For the living and for the dead.
The Honorable Kwame Jujoli Gakpe has to be up and doing and getting to the heart of the issue, helping his people.
People.
Because he's the MP for Keta, and Keta falls, Anyako falls under the Keta constituency. Okay, thank you so much. So and there was some a headline yesterday in yesterday's Ghanaian Times about how the erosion was affecting parts of the areas you're talking about, Atanyanyui and other places in the Volta region, especially in the Anglo area. So, Honorable Gakpe, you have a lot of work to do. We'll get some photos and some videos of what you saw. You saw poles inside the water.
Inside the water.
ECG poles.
ECG poles with live wires or whatever it is.
Wow.
And it was sad. It was sad. And as and when it rains, since I returned from that place, anytime it rains, any day it rains, I think about the people of Anyako.
This is lagoon water entering their homes.
Lagoon water entering their homes. Entering their homes, and the serious one is entering into cemeteries.
It's going to be washing away.
It's going to be washing away. And why should we allow this to happen? In the 21st century, why should this happen? When we have members of parliament, we have assembly members, we have district assemblies, and we have a government. So I think the MPs must lead the charge. And I'm happy you've mentioned his name.
Yes.
He should lead the charge and make sure that something happens, something good happens there. I'm not happy at all.
All right.
I'm not happy.
Honorable Kwame Jujoli Gakpe, over to you, sir. And over to you, lawyer Anokye Frimpong.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, my brother.
You've been doing a series on the significance of the colors of the flag.
Yes.
You went through red and yellow and green, and today you are doing black.
The Black Star.
The Black Star. Is that what's on your mind?
Certainly,
Okay,
that's what's on my mind.
Okay.
And I believe is the most important part of
Our
the flag, and in fact our very being. And I think to commence, I will do justice to a former news reader of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation who has written this invaluable book, Speaking of Africa. In the introduction, she says, quote, "When we are happy, we want to go home to mother. When we are sad, we want to go home to mother. Africa is home and mother. Her African children need to love her, and her African children need to nurture her. They need to respect her and to care for her. But first of all, they need to know her. This is just a drop in the ocean of knowledge that you can acquire about Africa." Unquote.
Who is she?
Madame Selma Hassan.
Fantastic.
Now, very brilliant and evocative words. Now, when we talk about the Black Star, it's about the black people, it's about Africa, and it will be very difficult, if not impossible, for anybody to attribute this to Madame Theodosia Oko. As I said, she acted as a tailor, as a seamstress, and Nkrumah brought the material and then she put together. She did so well, putting the black star in the middle of the flag. And please, I remember in her last interview before she died, she said she asked Kwame Nkrumah, why don't we make the stars a lot, as we find in the American flag? And Nkrumah said, no, just one will do. So this alone should tell you that that concept is not her concept. It's a very ancient concept. We have the Black Star Line, the national carrier, shipping carrier. We have the Black Star Square, which is the national shrine, the Black Star team, and everything about Ghana is the Black Star. How do you get this? When Kwame Nkrumah left the shores of Ghana to study in the US, Lincoln University, that's where he met a lot of black scholars, and for the first time got the concept of the Black Star through the writings of Marcus Garvey, who wrote that one day all black children everywhere in the world will come back to Africa in a ship called the Black Star. And so no wonder when Nkrumah set up the national carrier, he named it the Black Star Line. Then Nkrumah would move from the US to the UK in 1945-46. And at the British Museum, Nkrumah had an opportunity of studying a very illustrious African called Anton William Amo, born around 1703 in Axim in Western Ghana, who was sent at the age of 3 years to Holland. The intention by the Dutch Reformed Church was to make this boy a priest, train him as a priest, and come back to evangelize his own people. There was nobody to receive Amo because they had decided to cancel that program of the Dutch Reformed Church. And the Duke of Wolfenberg in Prussia, Germany, today Germany, decided to receive Amo, and at that tender age, bring him up, train him, educate him, and see whether the black brain would function just as the white brain. So Amo became the guinea pig to find out whether blacks were good as slaves, or given the opportunity, we could flourish, function just as the white man. It just brings to mind Nkrumah's famous speech, Independence. Many people have not considered that it was just an extempore, unprepared speech, and still one of the most captivating speeches ever made, in which, apart from talking about Ghana's independence, he mentioned freedom of Africa and concluded on the fact that the black man was capable of managing his own affairs. That is the life of Anton William Amo. In his first dissertation, put in Latin, in those days, all academic work was in Latin. So the topic suited him as a black person, and at that time, all black people in the world were slaves. He was the only one being given education. So let us learn today that the first black scholar was Anton William Amo, a Ghanaian born in Axim in 1703. And he became the first black professor. So in the SHS and what do you call it, WASI, when they tell you the first black professor, and the answers end on Professor K.L. Buzia, the whole nation is making a mistake. In fact, at the peak of his academic career, as we find here being shown, dedicated by the Martin Luther University of Halle-Wittenberg in the German Democratic Republic to its former student and lecturer, 1727 to 1747, Anton William Amo from Axim, the great African philosopher of the modern age. Amo was a professor in 4 universities, Halle, Jena, Wittenberg, and Leipzig. Was a professor more than 200 years before Professor Buzia was born. And in his first dissertation, as I'm saying, It was de jure mororium in Europa, the rights of black people in
Europe.
Africa,
Yeah.
in Europe. Thank you very much. Now, in it, Amo sought to castigate slavery, to condemn slavery through philosophy, law, and history. He argues that in the Roman Empire, sub-Saharan African kings were given special patents by Roman emperors, ending on Justinian, to show that Africans were a sovereign people. And Roman Empire contained the whole area of Western Europe. And so therefore, up to today, the Western part of UK are based on Roman law. So Amo's argument was that if your law is premised on Roman law, which recognizes the sovereignty and the independence and freedom of black people, and you could enslave black people, then philosophically you are making a mistake. And he also said that the study of freedoms and slavery should not be based on race or politics or religion, but should be based on people of equal history or shared history. And so if Africa was part of the history of Europe through the Roman Empire, then these people should be treated equally. And after delivering the dissertation, he was referred to as the Black Star. Why the Black Star? Because Amo was the lone fighter, and Amo was the only one throughout the world fighting. So he was the first to have started the fight against slavery by his pen. Now, apart from that, when Amo went to school, definitely you will fill your forms. They gave him the name of his benefactor, Duke Ulrich, his full name. So Amo's name was Anton William Ulrich. Now, Amo, because he was always conscious of his African origin, dropped the surname and used his own African name, Amo. And at the university, when he was filling his entrance form, stated Antonius Golemos Amo Ab Azimo in Guinea. That is in Latin, meaning Anthony William Amo from Axim in Ghana.
One time.
So, more than 250 years before Ghana was independent, and to change the name from the Gold Coast to Ghana, somebody had referred to this place as Ghana. And that was the Black Star. Why the Black Star? Like Moses in Egypt, who did not feel proud to be a child of the Pharaoh, but never forgot his Hebrew roots. Amo also, having been given every bit of education, welfare by the German kingdom at that time, never forgot that he was an African. He came from somewhere and he will go somewhere. And he had been born into an era where Africans were being enslaved, and he had to contribute to the emancipation of the black person. This was a Black Star. Don't forget the fact that anytime Amo signed his name, apart from using Anton William Amo, he also added F-E-R, and Afel in the German language means African. So Amo was never proud calling himself a German, but rather an African. It is also on record that after his academic career had come to an end, Amo never stayed in Europe, but rather came to Ghana, where he died, about 1756 at the Shama Fort St. Sebastian. Amo would be called the Black Star because we know that Germany has produced more philosophers than any country in the world. Talk about Kant, talk about Weber, Nietzsche, Karl Marx, and a lot. But Amo was able to study philosophy and beat them in their own field. He was called the philosopher of the mind. It's Amo who propounded the theory that the mind should be called the spirit, because it is completely independent of and detached from the body. It is the body that is the area for sensation. The body feels for food, for sleeping, hunger, sex, and all other things. And the whole thing is processed in the mind. That is the intelligent part of the body. So the mind is insensitive to what happens here. So every human being is made up of two parts, not one part. He propounded that idea. And so they call him among the philosopher of the mind. So when Kwame Nkrumah studied about this, knowing full well that he was not just a black person, not just an African, but a Ghanaian from his own country, Nkrumah so much came to love Amo that he decided to eulogize and then epitomize the Black Star, which had been referred to Amo. Someone will ask, why did Nkrumah not make mention of it? He made mention of it implicitly in his book Conscientism about the exploits of Amo. But Nkrumah never told Mrs. Todoshi Okun or anybody that the Black Star referred to a famous African, simply because he and Amo were from the same area. And Nkrumah saw himself as a black man, as an African, more than a Zema. He was never interested in anything that would put him into the arena of tribalism. And so he left it just as that. And so Nkrumah put it in the middle of the flag for everybody to know that we have always been like the white people. When it comes to philosophy, their own field, we have beaten them before. When it comes to academic work, we can stand them, and Amo has proved it. And given the chance, black people are able to manage their own affairs. This was the speech given, which actually made Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, especially Martin Luther King, to go and deliver the famous "I Have a Dream" speech, because they listened to Nkrumah and heard him telling them that more than 200 years before us, an African called Amo had been able to do it, and we too, we can do it.
So that's the history behind the Black Stars. This is how you interpret it. What a piece there. Has your mind been blown? Put it back together and send me a message on 055 556 1034. My guests in the house, 2 lawyers, 1 accountant, 1 historian, 2 great Ghanaians, powerful Africans, and I'm just privileged to be in their company. Let's tell you what's in the papers, and then we'll have some conversations. Okay, so Daily Graphic, ahead of 2023 budget on Thursday. What's going on? Ambitious revenue mobilization critical, says the Institute of Economic Affairs. They have 21 proposals for the budget. I'll look at 2 of them with my guest who is financially inclined. We also have a headline, Let Peace Prevail. Mriku Duka urges Kenyasi youth and Newmont. And Traj confirms conflict of interest petition against Edu Buahin. Okay, so those are your headlines. More than 50% of Ghanaians are obese. Wow. So you count two Ghanaians, 1 of them is obese. Look around yourself. 2 Ghanaians, 1 of you are obese. 2 Ghanaians, 1 of you are obese.
But we are 2 Ghanaians.
one of you is obese. One of you is obese. One of you is obese.
I am.
I'm hearing confessions at my chest. I won't say who confessed. Who confessed? The finder, don't despair. All is being done to surmount economic difficulties, says Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Baumia. The finder is also telling us 50% of Ghanaians are obese. This thing is serious. 1.2 million Ghanaian children not in school. Creating Ghana, we want a call for action to all Ghanaians. That's the finder. The anchor. Ministers ready to declare support for Alan. And then Obri Buahin says even Akpateshi is now 4 cedis per tot. That's a lament. Akpateshi, by the way, if you don't know, is...
Local liquor.
Yeah, it's Russia has vodka, Ghana has akpateshi.
That's right.
It's as simple as that. Jamaica has rum, Ghana has akpateshi.
Yes.
Okay? Yep, that's it.
Do you know the history behind the petition?
The thing is it akpe or ape?
You want to get
AKP.
AKP.
It's akpe.
Akpet.
Akpet.
The short name is Akpet.
That's right.
Now, I'm not a connoisseur, but I know the names.
I see.
You want a brief history of akpateshi?
Just a second. You see, because we liked a petition, and the white man had brought whiskey and then vodka, wanted us to buy, and people were not buying. They preferred that petition. They banned it, so you had to hide and drink, otherwise you will be arrested.
Okay.
And the petition, that is hide and drink.
What language is this?
That's a Gan language. Hide and then drink.
My Gan people, please confirm for me. Yeah. What is the correct pronunciation in Gan? Akpe. Akpeteshi.
You are hiding.
You are hiding. Akpeteshi. Hey, so it's Akpeteshi.
Akpeteshi.
Akpeteshi. Oh no. Akpe is what? Akpe.
You see, it's like you go and hide somewhere, and then you do it in secrecy.
But how do you say to hide in Ghana?
Yate.
Okay. Akpeteshi. Okay, all right.
Ote.
Okay, so it's now 4 cedis a tot. For those of you who buy it, are you worried? Okay, away from Akpeteshi, let's look at the budget. Because if you don't have money, you can't buy Akpeteshi, okay?
Yeah,
so IEA has 21 proposals for the 2023 budget. I see a couple of them, but the one that I want us to talk about is reduce e-levy to 0.5% to avoid evasion, consideration to drastically reducing ministries to 12, and sector and regional ministers to 40. Dr. Osae, how does this sit with you? Let's look at e-levy first.
Yes.
E-levy is not making enough money.
It's not making enough money because of evasion and the fact that the sensitization was very poor. So people are virtually evading. People are using all kinds of means to transact business on the platform without paying money. We have people who go to the banks and transfer money through the banks without paying anything. People are even registering merchant account numbers, so they will evade the
non-merchants are registering merchant accounts.
That's right. They are,
really?
They are registering merchant accounts.
Wow.
There are a lot of things happening. So I think I want to agree with the IEA. It's not only about reducing the percentage, but also improve sensitization. And then I also call for accounting. You see, the E-Levy Act itself provides for a half-year report. And I want to believe that that report is ready. It must be published for people to know how much have we realized from the E-Levy, what have we used the E-Levy for, and then also enough sensitization. But I want to agree with them that we should have it at 0.5%. But in doing that, what it then means is that we should be thinking about bringing back the road tolls, bringing back the road toll. But we need to do a quick assessment, environmental analysis to look at the environmental impact, its effect on local economy and all of that. So in principle, I want to agree with that.
So you do agree with Madam Ekweadonko, who was here last week, who said the tolls must come back?
I want to agree.
Where the tolls are
no, I want to agree with her. I want to agree with her because of its impact on the local economy and also its impact on government revenues. But then bringing it back requires a quick review so that it will get the maximum benefit from it.
Okay, great. Let me bring in Mr. Frimpong. So there's another consideration or proposal from Economic Affairs. It says drastically reduce ministries to 12 and then sector and regional ministers to 40. If you had only 12 ministries, which ones would you keep?
Oh, we have very fundamental ones, like the Attorney General.
Okay.
It's the only ministry mentioned in the Constitution.
Okay, so that one would be there.
Yes. Then we are talking about Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Good.
And then we are talking about Ministry of Defense.
Defense.
Yes. Then we are talking about the Ministry of Interior.
Interior.
We are talking about a very important cardinal fundamental education.
So that's 5.
And then health.
6.
You understand?
Yeah.
All the rest can be added, and then trade.
7.
Now with this, all the rest can be added.
Hey, where's my local government?
Yes, local government, interior.
Yeah, it's going to go there. So
Local government, interior.
To go inside interior.
Yes, they can work together.
Okay.
Then you talk about education, sports,
It can go with
chieftaincy.
sports.
You know, they can go together. And then when it comes to transport, you know, we can have one transport so that we don't have aviation, we don't have railways, we don't have anything, but just one transport.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
and then when it comes to works and housing, employment can go inside
there.
over there.
Okay.
So I don't think there is the need to create Ministry of Manpower Development, Ministry of Women Affairs. Women are also human beings. So why a special ministry for them?
No, we don't have a ministry for women.
Women and Children's Affairs.
We have a ministry
and
for
social protection.
Gender and social protection.
So that is a gender and social. What do you mean by gender and social protection? Well, how special is gender? How special is chieftaincy? It's just waste of money and everything.
But the man is a chief.
Waste of money and everything. So this is the time we are supposed to go back.
So for you, nine, we should have
no,
like
but we can't have 9 ministries without Ministry of Finance.
So if I made a mistake and I dropped it, because,
so 10.
So if you have these 10 ministries, tell me which one, if it had not been added, would bring down Ghana to the abyss of colonialism again. Okay. No, we can make do with it. And then the sad thing about it is that apart from even the minister and maybe 2 deputy ministers, in some places we also have a minister of state. This is the Dubois who has been sacked. Minister of State for Finance. What are you talking about? When we have the minister, Ken Oforiatta, a deputy minister, then they create another appointment for you, Minister of State. When you go to Jubilee House, there are several ministers of state without portfolio. Please, it's just too bad. Not only that, you see, when you have 16 regions, it means that the workload of the regional minister has been divided, has become very low. At first, we had 10 regions, so a very huge region like Bono Ahafo region, people, Northern region, then Western region. Now everything is sliced. 16. Yeah. So when it happens that way, it means that the regional minister can very effectively help in scrutinizing whatever that is happening in the district. So I am of the view that with the present scenario, you don't need district chief executives. You don't need municipal chief executives. We don't need metropolitan chief executives. And the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Mr. Korte, has shown it. Mr. Korte is going around everywhere in the Greater Accra region doing his work, the work that should have been done by the metropolitan and district chief executives. So that should tell you that we can make do without district chief executives.
He has made them redundant?
He has made them. So if every regional minister is working hard enough, there will be no need for municipal chief executives. Because as they said there, talk about the Kumasi Metropolitan Chief Executive, Sam Pine. I read his profile and I read what the NPP government said when they were putting him there. That Papa no wa brepa our party no. Wa brepa our party no.
Meaning what?
Meaning that he has served the party for so long a time that he deserved that political appointment. That means that the qualification of getting there, and almost every chief executive for the district, for the municipalities and the metropolis is nothing more than party service. So it's not better than the municipal or metropolitan chief engineer, director of education, health service, the judges over there, nothing except to go and serve the party's interest as the party's father. So when 2 MPP people fight, they will go and settle it over there. When they want a contractor to perform some work so that they will get into party coffers, not only MPP, NDC as well, it should be discussed at the level of the chief executive and throw out the chief engineer. And you were here when the chief engineer came some time ago, a couple of months ago, to say that sometimes you see a lot of contracts being done without the chief engineer of the district or municipality or metropolis not being aware. So when you drop these people, you see the amount of money the nation would save, and it will also help bring or put away the squabbles and fight between the chief executive and the member of parliament for that area. Apart from that, let us go to an era whereby we have a constitutional amendment to scale down the number of members of parliament to 200. You don't need 275 people to make laws for Ghana. You don't need that. If you have 10 people with very fine brains, they can make laws for the country. The system that we have is that when MPP comes to power, they will look at fine places in the Ashanti region, their World Bank, and split them so that they will have potentially more seats. When NDC come to power, Western region or Volta region and Central region, certain areas that are aligned to them, split them. So it means that in less than 20 years, we are going to have about 300 or more constituencies. Let us make it the law that you don't need more than 200 people to make laws for this country. It's as simple as that. And then we save money.
Thank you very much. Mr. Frimpong says 10 ministries are enough. Everything else can be collapsed. I'm asking you, what do you think? How many ministries do you think are enough? I mean, if you could cut it down, what would be the key ones? IEA is proposing 12. Mr. Frimpong has gone even further. He said 10. What are your suggestions? Let's propose something for the
and don't forget, in certain countries,
yes, send us.
If the president is a minister,
yes,
certain country, the president, Germany also, where
like the UK, the
yes, it's a minister.
MP,
Nkrumah was a minister for sports. General Champon was a minister for sports. At a certain time too, he became minister for finance. You understand? So this man, Dr. Bawumia, I believe could have been a minister for finance instead of making the president cousin the minister for finance, and then the vice president also knowledgeable in finance. And definitely, as in the case of all human beings, there will be a clash between the two of them. The government should have made the vice president minister for finance. After what is he doing?
Is it too late? Is it too late?
It's not too late. We should go back.
Can we make him a minister for finance?
You can easily. The president has the power in the constitution to make people minister, and it does not tell the designation. You can be a president and the minister.
So he could be VIP and finance.
Easily, as the two of us are saying. In Britain, if the prime minister is a minister, in Germany, the chancellor was one. A minister for finance.
Well, yeah.
Nkrumah has shown
and
that
it's happening in Ghana as well.
You can easily do. Yes, Ghana.
Kutu was a minister.
Minister at a certain point, finance at a certain point, sports. You understand? So that it shows ready, to manage money very well. And then also your area of expertise that brought you to power, you make sure that you have practicalized it and defended it.
Okay, Carl.
Passion and fire.
Yeah, I like what
Dr. Osae.
I like what my colleague has said.
Yes.
But there are constitutional imperatives to all of this.
Okay.
So some of the proposals he's making will require constitutional review.
Yes.
Because when you look at the Constitution under Article 76, it makes prescription for the number of people, ministers that should be in cabinet. The president, the vice president, and not more than 19 ministers. So to start with, we start with 21. And if IA's proposal is to have 16 regional ministers, 24 sector ministers, that gives us 40. What that means is that it is even more than the requirement for a cabinet composition under Article 76. So that is the first one. The second one is that Parliament do not only make laws. In our governance architecture, MPs represent constituencies for the purpose of allowing their voice to be heard in governance. So I can agree with the 200, but what I hear him saying is that we should have an indicative number of people within a particular area that can be represented in Parliament. So that, yes, I want to agree with that. The last one is his proposal for the abolition of the position of chief executive. That will be difficult because under
the MMDC,
yes, under chapter 20 of our constitution, a special article 240, it is mandatory for every government to decentralize the administration of the state. Now, in decentralization, the regional, in so far as you cannot dispense with services of a regional minister, because the region is a deconcentrated unit of the center. You cannot dispense with the chief executive at the district assembly level because they are expected to be the chief representative of the central government. That is bringing governance closer to the people. So as soon as you ban the position of chief executive, already you are centralizing administration or administrative governance.
Mr. Frimpong is looking for radical reforms.
Yes, I agree with the radical reforms, but this is
constitutional reform.
This is an entrenched.
It should be constitutional.
Radical constitutional reforms.
Yes.
But you see, this is an entrenched provision in our constitution, and that's the problem. Constitution.
But we entrenched it. We can disentrench it.
Yes, I'm getting there. That is why the Constitution Review Commission made proposals for amendment.
Yeah.
And they made a number of amendments as far as entrenched provisions are concerned. And before you can amend one entrenched provision, you have to go through a referendum. And in a referendum, you can only ask one question. So we need a number of referenda to be able to amend the Constitution. That's why I have always proposed that this Constitution, if we really want to develop, we need a development constitution. It was to move us from a military government to a constitutionally democratic government, and we have it now. We are stabilized. It is about time as a country we rewrite a development constitution that will take us to where we want to be, rather than going through this amendment. The amendment can never happen because of the number of entrenched provisions that have been proposed to be amended, and each entrenched provision requires a referendum. And a referendum requires one question, and it will cost not less than a certain amount of money to run a referendum in this country. So it's better we start thinking about rewriting our constitution to a development constitution.
What do you think? Let us know. 055-556-1034. It's 7:37. You're watching GTV Breakfast. My name is Kaf, and at 7:45, we're going to dash into GTV Sports Plus. By the power of technology, and get you the World Cup updates. But before that, since we're talking about money, do you need a quick loan to pay for exigencies of the time. Well, Fido, it used to be called a dog back then, but now they give money. Fido has very great news for you. They've extended their maximum loan amount to 2,500 Ghana cedis. What you need to do is start with 200 cedis for your first loan. Pay on time to get a higher loan up to 2,500. You download the Fido app from the Google Play Store. Get a quick Fido loan in just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 minutes right on your phone. All you need is your Ghana card. All you need is a mobile money wallet, and you can apply. But there's a fraud alert, okay? Beware of fraudsters, scammers, tricksters. Fido doesn't have any agents. Fido doesn't ask you to pay money before you get your Fido loan. Anyone who asks you for that money is a liar, a scammer, and a thief. LST. Report that person immediately, ASAP. How do you get your loan? You want to dial star 711 star 55 star 711 star 55 55 hash. Apply now or download the free Fido app directly from the Google Play Store. So that's Fido for you. Star 711 star 5555 hash. We go for sports in 6 minutes. There's one more proposal that I thought would be interesting for you to discuss, gentlemen, before we go for the sports. Review mining tax regimes to increase benefits to Ghana. I'll start with the man who comes from arguably the richest part of this country, the Western region, and where a lot of the mining activity is happening. And IEA says, listen, we need to two things. Impose a temporary windfall tax on extractive companies. I'll get the technicalities from Dr. Osae soon. And review mining tax regimes to increase benefits to Ghana. You agree with that?
Yes, I believe it should be done. You see, in most countries, even in Africa, Zimbabwe, the moment you commence a mining activity, you are supposed to commence paying tax. Otherwise, you don't get there. You know, in the case of Ghana, when you start the exploration activities, it takes a number of years before you come for a mining lease. And all this while you don't pay any tax. Meanwhile, in practice, we have realized that in the course of doing the exploration, like sampling, it takes the same, what do you call it, resources, machinery, technology.
Prospecting.
The prospecting stage, the same technology as actual mining. The reconnaissance stage, the prospecting stage, before the lease stage. These have been broken down, helping the investor in 90% of situations, the foreigner, to make a lot of money. And every now and then, the prospecting license, not paying any tax. And at a certain point, say that we didn't find much gold, so we are going away. Only to set up another company, a sister company, and come and do the same thing. In practice, this is what is happening in the country. And all the governments, not MPP, all of them have endorsed that. And I believe it doesn't help the country. And then also, the amount of money generated from mining, you know, is so huge as compared to the tax that is paid. And I believe that the practical one can be given by our brother sitting here. I am of the view that the country is not just to take tax from, collect taxes from mining companies, but we have reached a stage like Libya did, other African countries have been able to do, to buy back.
So the N word, nationalization.
To nationalize, like Nkrumah did. Nkrumah in the 80s. You know, he nationalized it to Ghana National Trading Corporation. GNTC.
Sharp.
And then the foreign mining companies, he made it Ghana National Mining, State Gold Mining Corporation. And he didn't lose anything. You know, and when it comes to things that Ghanaians will spend dollars to go and purchase, he rather would go to India, China, US, whatever, that we don't want our people to use dollars to come and purchase from your country. It will cost us a lot of money. So let us set up your country, your company in Ghana. And an example is a Firestone. Yes, so that we will not go outside. And then this company, Liver Brothers, Nestle, make sure they set them up here. Ghana, when it comes to toothpick, you go to China. Toilet roll, you go to China. Everything, you go to China. Please, we have got the precedent, the benchmark already.
Yeah, the banks have been told not to offer forex support for.
Is it now that we are learning this when it was already there?
Good question. Good point there. Before we go for the sports and your messages, Dr. Osae, what is a windfall tax?
A windfall tax is an additional tax imposed on the additional profits of persons operating in certain industries. So when you come to the mining sector, since the prices of gold, diamond, etc. kept increasing, and maybe tax percentage is capped, when you make excessive profit, a windfall tax regime allows the government to tax you extra. So you go beyond the normal corporate tax that you're supposed to pay.
Okay.
So when you look at the mining sector, for instance, they pay royalties, and the royalties will depend on the value of the gold or the minerals that you sell.
Okay.
And then after that, you pay a corporate tax of the other profits. But when you put a windfall tax on it, the tax that is imposed on an after-tax profit. And that normally comes in when in periods that gold prices are in such a way that the mining company is making a lot of profit to the disadvantage of the state.
All right.
So I think I agree with them.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Stick with us. We are going to take 15 minutes of sports news, World Cup issues, Senegal, England. 03959605. Again, 0303959605. The GBC free-to-air signal. And for the avoidance of any doubt, the GTV Sports Plus signal is the only authorized feed by FIFA for public view activations in Ghana. All relevant matches shall be broadcast live and in their entirety during public viewing activations. The licensed public view organizer shall ensure that each live transmission of the GTV Sports Plus broadcast of each match commences not less than 15 minutes, prior to the scheduled kickoff time of the relevant match till 10 minutes after the match. The licensed public view organizer is expressly prohibited from breaking away from or interrupting the feed either 1. Prior to kickoff of the relevant match, or 2. During actual match play, or 3. During breaks, halftime, etc. For the avoidance of any doubt and beyond the broadcast of the matches, the licensed public view organizer shall also ensure that the FIFA and GTV consortium commercial rights on the feed are duly broadcast. The general public is warned against entities holding themselves as organizers of fan zones and or public view activations around the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 matches without authorization from the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Collaborators of pirating individuals and or entities equally violate the rights of GBC. So that's a public notice on fan zones and public view activations. And for those of you who are curious about the games that you will be seeing on GTV, on GTV Sports Plus, on Obonu TV, and on Garden City TV, take a listen to what Mr. George Lomote, acting director of TV, had to say about this last week when he was a guest of Maltiti on the show, talking about the games that we are covering, are showing to you. Check this out.
We have free-to-air rights, and those are basically the big games, 28 of them. We are broadcasting live on our GTV Sports Plus channel, which is the lead in this regard, and then also 3 other GBC platforms. But I also want to mention that we are doing this with a number of other TV stations in a consortium. Okay. So when we talk about the free-to-air broadcast, it's made up of GTV Sports Plus as lead, with 3 other GBC channels, GTV, Obonu TV broadcasting with Ghana commentary, and then also Garden City broadcasting with Tree commentary. Aside these, have over 10 other TV stations who have come together with us to broadcast this. We want to make sure that the FTA signal as possible. And as you know, Ghana is in there, so it's really a big one for Ghanaians and for the Black Stars. Ghanaians are able to follow the national team. So yes, all the Black Stars game, if they, throughout the group, if they proceed till the finals, will be on free-to-air TV, plus other big games. So every match day, we have some games for our audience.
Is FIFA, as a fair distributor of content, agrees that whenever the national broadcaster gets access to all the free-to-air games, and then it also makes it available for terrestrial broadcasting and digital direct-to-home broadcast partners.
Right.
So we have the rights through our player Super Sports, the biggest investor in live sports across the African continent, and for that reason, who across the country and Africans across the world will be able to watch all 64 games live on DSTV and GoTV.
Oh, 64.
Okay, so for avoidance of doubt, you will see 28 of the 64 games in this year's Qatar 2022 FIFA competition. 28 of them. We've shown you a couple already. And today, for the 22nd of November, we're showing you France versus Australia, 7 p.m. And that's where you can get it. But for radio commentary, go check all the games. You get them on radio. We're not interested in radio. We're interested in TV. TV, we have 28 games that we are showing you. And France, Australia is what we're showing you today at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, we're showing you Belgium versus Canada at 7 p.m. tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we're showing you at 10 a.m. Switzerland versus Cameroon. And at 4 p.m. Portugal versus Ghana. I know that's where you are interested in. But I'm just giving you a sense of the games that we are showing. So today, please expect 7 p.m. France versus Australia. Okay, we're showing you 28 of the games. And that's the arrangement we have with the people who have given us the rights to show. And if you're showing the games without a license, we're coming after you. All right? That is a promise. My guests here, Mr. Yaw Anokye Frimpong, he's a lawyer and historian, and then Dr. Oduro Osae, who is a corporate governance expert. He's a lawyer as well as an accountant and the Director General of the Internal Audit Agency. And Valerie has your messages. We've done a whole lot discussing issues of proposals for ministries. We've looked at the Black Star, the significance of that. Dr. Osae has asked us to pray for the Black Stars. And then he's also worried about what's happening at Anyako, the MP for the Qatar MP.
The government.
And the government, yes. Mr. Gakwe and the government and the authorities to do something about what's happening in Anyako. And we're also calling out Valerie to read some messages for us.
Good morning, Kaf.
Yes.
Maybe I'm okay.
Yeah, fine. What are the messages we have?
Right, we have a lot of people are sending in the number of ministers they think Ghana should have. Okay. He says, this is Swale Sounds from Tema.
These are his ministries.
Yes, these are. He goes, I'll read a few.
Yes.
So, Mr. Kafu, I suggest finance, defense, interior, trade and industry, education, youth sport, health, labor, roads and transport, agriculture, information and communication. Oh, he's gone to 13. Yes. Local government and rural development, gender and social protection, environment, science, technical, energy, water, resource works and housing, attorney general and justice. The rest should all go. They are no minister of state, no secretariat for any special initiative. They should fall under their respective ministries. This is from Swale Sounds in Tema.
It would be easy do it, man.
It would be easy do it, yes. I agree with lawyer Anokye Frimpong. Honestly, this country with this state of economy does not need more than 275 people to make laws for Ghana. In quote, if we have 10 people with very fine brains, and quote, as he said, I love his passionate criticism of issues. John Simmons has joined the conversation, says, greetings, Scaf. As much as I support the proposals of your panelists on reduction of the ministries, my problem is where will all the workers go? It's not only the ministry that will go, but workers nationwide too. Another unemployment headache. That's from John.
The workers will stay.
And they will stay.
And get absorbed.
Our worry is the money, benefits, and all the tax returns for the ministers and their deputies.
All right, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so GTV, talk to your technicians to work on the digital channels. We have spent so much to buy digital decoders and smart TVs, yet we cannot enjoy the World Cup. The digital channels keep going on and off from the very day this tournament started. Please, we are disappointed. Do something about this. Kaf.
Thank you.
Can you go back why we are not showing all the 64 matches?
Well, this one is a quality issue. He says it keeps going on and off, so it's not even about the game. So we're sending that to our technical department, and they'll sort it out for you. Thank you so much.
Okay, Monica has joined the conversation. Good morning, Kaf, and your panelists. Dr. Oduro said, thank you for bringing the plight of the people people of Anyako to the general public. I hope government officials have heard your plea for them. The regional minister must act now, and the MP does follow-ups to make sure something is done to alleviate their plight.
Anyako has heard you. Yes. Akbanao.
Okay, so since there was no aviation technology 200 years ago, how did Amo get to, because according to
by boat. End of story. By boat. He certainly didn't
Amos,
swim there. He went by boat.
Amos, your question has been answered.
He went by boat.
They shipped him.
He went by boat.
Okay, Alaji Haruna from Ashaman says, what a disgrace for the country, people queuing to buy plantain and yams, and you say planting for food and jobs was successful. Come on, who are you deceiving? And those are his thoughts. Good morning to you all in your studio. Today your program is very, very interesting. May the good Lord keep them alive for us. They are educating Ghanaians as well as God bless them. Ghana should have 19 ministers. That's Isa. Okay, if you have been watching us, and I'm sure you know that it has been addressed.
You want to know why the games are not on
yes,
Multi TV. Multi TV doesn't have the rights to show the games on Multi TV.
And Multi TV is not GTV.
It's not GTV.
Okay, Nana Opoku from a swim Sikam Perede. That's the policy statement of President Akufo-Addo to take us out of the mess he's brought us. 1. Mahama dances to the song Yentiobia, composed by Daddy Lumba in the company of Otumfuo. It was forced on him that he says Ontiobia. 2nd, Nanado emphatically stated that Yentiobia Yebekoso Sa, but the same people see nothing wrong with him. What kind of country are we building? A country of hypocrites. Is that what we want? I will not say that. And that's from Nana Opoku from a swim. This is from Monica, and Monica is saying, Kaf, please disassociate yourself from the comments Mr. Anokye Frimpong made against Mr. Sampain. I know Mr. Sampain has a 2nd degree, and for Mr. Frimpong to make such comments about him is unnecessary.
It is very necessary because that was the statement made by the party that Wabre wa party no.
I didn't hear the comment, so I'll dissociate myself from them. But if that's what you heard,
he didn't say it in English. Once it was not interpreted,
and I didn't say
it was not translated in English.
The profile was a party profile.
Okay, Lottie Jones is coming in and saying it's getting really scary and tougher by the day. A distance of which public transport charged one CD 80 pesos is now going for 5 CDs 50 pesos. Does anyone still hold the view that this is better than what was complained about in 2016? Is Nanado aware that the Constitution, the 1992 Constitution, doesn't prevent him from resigning? Lottie Jones from a swim. Hashtag GTV breakfast. Yes, we love to see this. How did you people forget the backbone of Ghana? Food and agriculture should comprise fishery, forestry, lands, and natural resources and environment.
Combination. Yes. Yeah. Powerful, eh? Yeah.
Good morning, Kafui. Don't you and your panelists think giving the country back to our colonial masters would be the best solution to our problems? This is a suggestion. You did not send your name. Please send us your name next time.
No. I think the agreement here is no.
It's no.
or Mr. Frimpong, you have an idea? No. At all. We vigorously
Seke is joining the conversation. He says I should read his message. Okay, Seke, I'm reading your message. Good morning, Kaf. Sooner than later, there will be a series of demonstrations for new constitution, especially discarding Article 71. And those are his thoughts and not those of GBC. Good morning, BFS. We need to collapse the subsidiary ministries and maintain the core ministries for efficiency and cost savings to the country at this critical moment. Thank you. Let me go all the way to the top. Okay. Oh, this is Swale again. Swale, I've read your message.
Yes, you have.
Okay. Emmanuel Kweku says, please, Anokye can make suggestions without criticisms. We need solutions. That's Emmanuel Asiedu from Tema. Okay, you didn't say your name, but he says, good morning. I think Ghana, we need 20 ministers. I'm learning a lot from this program, and kudos to you guys. Good morning. Good morning to you too. Thank you. Good morning, GTV BFS. Kaf, please, I'm enjoying your station on DSTV decoder, but why can't I watch the World Cup matches? Kaf, you want to tell him again?
Because you don't know the schedule. Let me tell you the schedule. Today on GTV Sports Plus, Obonu TV, Garden City, we are showing you France versus Australia, 7 p.m. after work. Just relax with your chilled bottle of whatever you want to drink and enjoy the game. France versus Australia. There will be no Pogba, but there will be other people there as well. Yeah. So yeah, you can watch them. All right, 7 p.m. tonight. And then on Thursday, we have 2 games. 10 a.m., Switzerland versus Cameroon. 4 p.m., Portugal versus Ghana. So, yeah.
Simple as that. Okay, back to the screen. Very brilliant knowledge sharing from your 2 legals about consolidation of multi-party systems of governance. This is from Alaji Dauda, Medina State. And I think we're through, Kaf.
Okay.
Dego is typing. Okay, he's through. Dego is saying, Kafui, let those asking for some ministerial appointees to be relieved to give me statistics. How many ministers versus how much value will be saved? We need the figures to convince us, not simplistic chance of collapse this. This is from Dego. Thank you, Dego. Okay, more messages coming up. This is from, good morning, my name is and my problem is why all stations are not going well, please. You might want to send that again, we do not understand. Oh, that's a tough, long one. Good morning, GTV Breakfast. Mr. Kaf and panelists, great history of the Black Star. Please, Europe was allowed to devastate us, but the time has arrived for Africa to rising again, and the whole earth knows it. A great mistake was made by our ancestors for our continent to experience all kinds of government, and this time of going back to the United Kingdom of Africa is coming soon. What is happening today on the earth is a proof of transition to the new system coming, and nothing can change it. Okay, sir. Let's go to Nicholas from Choco. Good day. History is really interesting. Great lessons learned from the historian. Please read my message, Nicholas from Choco. Good morning, Nicholas. We just read your message. Okay, Monica is back again with Mr. Anokye. Mr. Anokye Frimpong, the fact that Mr. Sampain was because he has suffered for the party doesn't make him unqualified for the job, and that's Monica's banter with Mr. Anokye. Mr. Anokye will leave it right there. Good morning, GTV BFS. Dr. Anokye has said it all. How can a small country like Ghana appoint that large number of executives? My question is, do we even need the services of that of deputy ministers, whereas some ministries are having CEOs. God help our homeland, Ghana. I've read your message. Thank you for sending it. Good morning, Kaf. Please, are you aware? Oh, I won't even read your message. You're not even listening to us. Send us an message. Bye. Good morning, Kaf. I'm an artist and I want to depict your image. Okay, Kafui has heard you. Please send it to us.
Go the Ademola way. Just draw. Go. Draw it and come and present.
Okay.
Cool. You don't need permission.
Willis Will is joining with an interesting message. He says, reducing ministers are not the problem. What they are receiving, one minister allowance per month can pay 10 NADMO workers. You can collect tax from. If we can have 500 ministers and pay them 200 Ghana, no problem.
But that is really not true. It is not true that ministers earn a lot of allowances. When you look at their base pay, ministers do not earn a lot. It is about the administrative cost of the ministries. The salaries of ministers, especially those who are MP ministers, their salaries. There are some chief executives in this country who are earning 4 or 5 times the salary of a minister of state.
Okay. Someone is joining the conversation. He says, Kafui, good morning to your panelists. The number of ministers and MMDCEs are too many. Some of the MMDCEs must be merged. Example, Osula, Teshi, and Nungwa have 4 MMDCEs. It's too many. My suggestion for 20 ministers is good for Ghana. God save Ghana. This is Charles. I've read your message.
They keep adding, please. I want to read that person. So GTV can't all the. Read it for me.
Okay, so GTV can't show all the World Cup games. This is so embarrassing. Showing just 28 out of 64. This is World Cup, for God's sake. You see that?
So when we say pay TV license, did you pay? You don't pay. We don't pay the TV license. If we pay TV license, we'll have good money to air all 64 games and even training sessions and things. But you refuse to pay the TV license. So we'll pay what we can afford. We're cutting our coat according to our cloth.
And corporate institutions in Ghana, under their corporate social responsibility obligation, must come in to support GBC in these times. Please. Because sports unites Ghana.
Thank you.
So we are calling on corporate Ghana, all the corporate institutions, come on board so they can screen all of this so that Ghanaians can benefit. This is the time to show that you're Ghanaians.
And times
so
are
please,
hard.
Times are hard. Come in to support GBC.
Yes. So we'll give you 28 out of 64. Pay the TV license. Then we get money. We can show you all the things you want. Is that a good deal?
It is.
Thank you.
So, good morning, GTV BFS. I thought, Valerie, you are sacked. But alhamdulillah, you are back. I miss you. I was never sacked. I went on a short break.
Hey, I even pray for you. Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
Mashallah. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going.
You've been missed, too.
I missed you too. CAF, the ministers are plenty. We need to slash the number. What is the essence of deputy ministers? This is from PK Walafahe.
All right.
Right. Okay. CAFWE, this is from a viewer. CAFWE, I have issues with Article 71 holders retiring on their pay. Look, now we have a lot more, home taking, same salary as those in their office.
Okay,
well, DJ Hammond is saying sharing is caring. Okay.
We agree.
Bright is saying the historian is on point. I like his positive mind. Good morning. This is Bright from Dansoman. Good morning, Bright. Delgo is here again. By the way, if Anokye has any problems with appointment of an MMDCE, he should tell me NDC to join call the electing them. That's the way to go. Okay. This is a prediction. Somebody is saying in Thursday match they will score Ghana. He's Sly, why are you predicting?
This is not what we want to do.
We don't want to hear
we
this.
don't want to. Why are you predicting
Pray
that?
for Ghana.
Don't do that. Good morning, Ghana. I can boldly say that even those panels you invite to the morning shows to talk about the downfalling of the country are all aware of the hindrances going on in the country. They will all come innocent. Mike from Tema.
We speak our mind.
We're done. One more, we're done.
Okay,
One more.
Diana. Good morning. There will be a nice discussions on how the matches will go, and when it's time for the kickoff, we can't have the opportunity to watch the matches on GTV. Diana, I'm going to hand you over to CAF. CAF will address you for this.
Okay.
CAF.
So I'm going to be watching. I've watched the game so far, but I don't know whether we'll have to find out what the whole situation is. But the games are being aired. I've told you the games that are being aired. I've told you what is being aired today. It's Switzerland. Sorry, France versus Australia today, 22nd November, 7 p.m. On Thursday, we're playing Switzerland, Cameroon at 10, Portugal, Ghana at 4 p.m. And those are the games that we'll be showing on GTV, on Sports Plus, on Garden City TV, on Obonu TV. All right? Thank you so much. Any comments from what you've heard so far? Lawyer Frimpong, you're good. Are you going to court today?
Yes, from here.
You're going to court?
Yes.
You miss court, I know.
I do miss court, but I'm also serving Ghana in another capacity. So I just want to respond to the gentleman who said we should merge Teshin, La, Osu into
local government.
Local government issue. It's a constitutional issue. Once, as Chapter 20 of the Constitution says, we should have decentralized government to bring governance closer to the people. Once you merge it, you deny the people of Teshin from having access to government.
Okay.
And that's what the chief executive does.
Right.
You don't need to come to Accra, you don't need to move from Wa to Accra to experience and feel governance. You should be able to feel to yourself, you'll be able to feel that you are part of the process.
Maybe we should vote for them.
The election of MMDC is the best way to, except that there's a controversial issue, a big question to answer, whether election produces the most competent person or the most popular person.
Well, we produce a president. That's good enough.
Well, the question I'm asking is, does election produces the most competent person or the most popular person?
Okay. Mr. Frimpong, before we go, yes or no?
No, GBC should find a way of radically mobilizing resources.
Positive radicalism.
Yes, and that's the payment of the licenses. Yes.
Thank you. Simple and sweet. Nanyin. The scoop is coming up next with a gentleman who wants to be the national organizer of the National Democratic Congress. His name is Solomon Nkamsa. He sits down with Taki herself.